But the recovery is remarkable because there is something about this war, which is that the medicine with the military is the best you can possibly find. Had I been in a different situation and hit by an explosion of some kind, even right here in New York City, what would have happened would have been different. It would have been much longer to make that decision to remove the skull, which my expanding brain needed to be done quickly in order for my brain to recover. Now, there would have been a moment where there probably would have been some legal issues you got to think about. There might be even confusion about what's happened in a city like New York. Was this a car crash? Was you beaten by a criminal? There you go.
I lost my voice in Nigeria, so you have to help me out too, will
translator. So you never what in that situation it might take longer to do what they were able to do in the military situation. Secondly, the helmets are better than they used to be. The body protections are better than they used to be. The kind of pills and drugs and treatment and shots and everything else they're getting out there that the medics are able to use in this war compared to previous ones mean that more lives are being saved. So you got look at Vietnam, where you've got about 57,000 people who were killed, and there's about 2.7 injured for everyone that was killed in that war. Now it's really more 16 to 1. Not 2.7 to 1, 16 to 1. So you've got a lot of lives that are saved, but there also means there's a lot of people that are injured. And injuries, like traumatic brain injury that you mentioned, are for long periods of time. We're not talking about weeks or months. We're talking years and maybe decades that need this kind of help. And so you've got a group like the VA that needs to look at this and don't really know that much about traumatic brain injury. A lot of these veterans should be going to their local hospitals where the doctors have been looking at traumatic brain injuries in this country because of car crashes and beatings and falls and baseball bats and everything else. And they should be able to get that kind of help, not necessarily one to doctors that are just newly learning about these kinds of things. And that one seems to be pretty clear.
But once you're out of the hospital, there's quite a bit of time where you really have to have training and relearning your brain to remember words, to write, and so on. If I remember correctly, when you came out of your coma, you couldn't remember your daughter's name. So that's how far we've come, isn't it? In your case.
Some of the most really moving things was I woke up. Not only did I not know the names of my two twins. I've got a son who's 16, who at that time was just barely 15, and then I've got a daughter who's now 13, and then I've got two twins that are 7 years old. And when I finally woke up after 36 days, I mean, literally, I went to sleep on January 29th, and I finally woke up again at Bethesda Naval on March 5th. So I missed all of February in the Winter Olympics. So I finally woke up, and my wife walked in, and I say, "Honey, where have you been?" And Lee, of course, who had been there every single day, had no idea what was going to happen to me. Would I be able to speak again? Will I be able to walk again? Will I be able to think again? Would I really even live at home again? And there I was, and she'd been in there rubbing my feet every day and talking to me and whispering in my ears. And so 95% of her really she just loved that day that I was now awake, but 5% wanted to struggle me for what I just said. But one of the stories that's amazing is that the doctors said that I was not reacting at all while I was in my coma. And I still, to this day, don't have any memories of the time of the coma. I don't have any nightmares from that time. And I don't have any memories. But the doctors said they would try to get me to react, and I didn't. But one day, my little daughter, Catherine, walked up to me and did a kissing game. Now, a kissing game was something we've been doing for years as I traveled on the road to cover the wars. And I'd get her on the phone every day, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months while I was on the road. And I would have this little game where we'd try to have a competition of kissing on the phone and see who could last with her breath the longest. So, and see if you've been. Of course, I lost to her. But anyway, she did that to my ear while I was asleep. It was about a week before I woke up. And the doctor said that when she did that to me, did the kissing game with me, that was the first time I saw any reaction. And a tear came down my eye. And it was within 1 week that I finally woke up.